Well, can we open the meeting so we can roll?
Yes, let's do that.
Do we have a forum?
We do.
We do,
I
Yep.
don't see. Oh, okay.
Steve,
Um, Great.
Janet,
Now, I didn't send out any
Christina,
minutes
and
for us to approve.
somebody else, Molly. Hello, Molly.
Molly works with me.
Oh,
Hi,
okay.
yeah,
Hi,
I
hi,
work with
welcome.
her, and I'm also, lifelong Concord resident. So
Okay.
I've been meaning to come for a while to one of these meetings. And when Christina said that she was planning on coming, I decided that it was a great opportunity.
Oh, great.
Welcome.
Do you have a last name, Molly?
Lanigan.
Lanigan. Oh, okay. I guess that was on the screen there. I just missed it.
And what is your connection? You just interested?
I work with Christina. We do native bee surveys, and then I also live in Concord and just really like bees. So
Nice.
Okay.
Excellent. Christina, what's your last name, just for the record?
It's Martin.
Martin.
And
Okay.
we both work for Minuteman National Historical Park.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Nice.
Yeah,
Welcome.
did I meet you doing the garlic mustard pull?
No.
I have helped with that.
That was in kind of right around late May, I think, early June.
Then probably.
The high school kids were doing a garlic mustard pull, and I helped organize it. Anyway,
Janet, we can't see your face. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, yeah, she does.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, hi. It's just showing. It's for some reason the other camera's picking me up tonight, so you get the side view instead of the front view. But I think you'll get over it.
Okay.
Oh,
Computers are strange.
they have a mind of their own. All right, you got a roll call, Mark?
Yeah, I'm just not jotting down who's here. And I can finish it later. The nice thing is this is being recorded, so actually I don't really need to take minutes. I can just play the recording back. And let's see. I failed to send out minutes for us to approve. So let's skip that if everybody's okay with that.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. The town's after me for our minutes for our past meetings, so I'll get
That's a
roasted.
concept. Who actually asked you, Mark?
Oh, I think one of the town clerks. And I
Must
can't
be
remember.
me.
Pardon?
Interesting. That means they're cracking down on everybody, which is actually a good thing.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to put in minutes. I don't have a problem with that. And we have approved some ones in the past that I still need to send it to them, so I'll take care of those first. So why don't we go ahead and talk about, well, first of all, our guests you do pollinator surveys? Do you survey how many of a particular type of bee you see, or just what is a survey?
We go around, we have 4 different survey sites around Minuteman, and we walk a fixed route and record all of the bees that we find and what flowers we find them on. We're also doing some work to try to see how mowing may impact pollinators. So we record whether bees were found on mowed areas or non-mowed areas. Yes, we do. There are certain species that we're supposed to be able to identify too, but then otherwise it might be broader, like genera, or it could be like even broader, like morpho groups that we use, just depending on how hard it is to identify them just in the field on the fly.
So to speak. Yeah.
You use iNaturalist or you try and identify them yourself?
Well, we try to identify them ourselves, but there are some instances where they might trip us up a little bit. So that's the case where we would use iNaturalist. So I have put a lot of observations on iNaturalist, so you'll probably see me on there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
what's the most exciting bees that you've seen?
Ooh, we're starting to see leafcutter bees right now, and that's been
Nice.
very exciting for me.
Yeah. That'd be very exciting.
Yeah,
and we
I've never
also-
seen one.
Okay, what's next on the agenda?
Well,
I'm
it's,
having to work from my phone, so I can't do both.
oh, okay. Well, what's on the agenda is to talk about plans for pollinator garden improvements. So we've got, of course, there's the one at the high school. There's the one over at Harrington Park. There's one at the boat landing. Just, to share those and see if we can coordinate or assist in any of that. So does anybody want to report on, I guess no one's here from the high school. How about Harrington Park? How's that looking?
But we need weeding and adding plants. I need to go over to Weston Nurseries tomorrow and pick up some more plants, I think. I've shared plants, a lot of plants with Boat Launch and Barrett's Mill Trail.
Oh, nice. Barrett's
So
Mill Trail. Where is that located?
it's on Barrett's Mills Road, just past it, just between Strawberry, not far from Strawberry Hill Road where it comes in.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And Kurt manages that, and he's put in a lot of different plants, some of them not native to Middlesex County, and he's gradually been taking those out and putting others that are Middlesex County. Does a superb job, an outstanding job.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That it gets a lot of caterpillars in the season too.
Nice. I've noticed, is Meadowsweet on the list for Middlesex County?
Meadowsweet, I think it is, but I'd have to check Go Botany to see.
Yeah. 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 I noticed I planted a few I got from Lincoln a few years ago,
Uh-huh.
and they've gotten quite big. And I was looking at them yesterday, and they were covered with different types of pollinators that I hadn't seen before. I took some pictures, but I haven't identified them yet.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it too, Lois. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
But it
We had a
sounds like
boom in
thunder.
our neighborhood.
Is that thunder?
Yeah, yeah.
how-
It was it sounded like somebody dropped a huge rock
Yeah.
about half a mile away.
Interesting. Oh,
I was outside a few minutes ago and it tried to rain, but it didn't succeed.
Well, I think,
Felt a few drops.
yeah, I think your question about what people can do for the garden really begs the question of what is our purpose?
Yep.
And Janet, you were interested in looking at our charter.
Yeah, I'm mainly what I want to do is add something about deer pressure to that, because I think deer are a major contributor to the decline in pollinator plants around here.
mhm.
And they allow the invasives to outcompete. They munch up the natives and they allow the exotic to invade.
Right.
Okay.
And just for your information, for an announcement here, SVT, Sudbury Valley Trustees, just sent out a questionnaire maybe last week, and to everybody on their mailing list. I happened to get a copy of it. And today I talked with Kristen O'Brien at SVT, who's the person behind this. I talked to her a few years ago about deer pressure. and they're trying to convene a meeting later in the summer.
Yeah,
There seems to be some nascent interest in a regional deer management plan. So stay tuned. It's a real problem. People are really starting to, thank God, address it.
Yep.
And fun fact, the Lone Star tick is coming north, and deer are instrumental in the spread of that tick.
Mhm.
It's, they use their main vector is the white-footed mouse, and deer help spread it because they're big and, have long legs and a wider range than a mouse. But
Mhm.
with the Lone Star tick, that's deer. Just
Okay.
straight out deer. And if you and the ironic thing is, if you get bitten by them, you can get a red meat allergy, which means you wouldn't be able to eat venison.
Sounds like good for the deer.
So there.
Interesting.
but I'm wondering, is working on gardens part of our charter?
Why
Well,
don't we make it part of the charter?
yeah.
What's to say we can? The original purpose of the group was to decrease the use of neonics, and that has been somewhat addressed. And
Yeah.
so I think now it's time to enlarge our mission to include things that would encourage pollinators in general, like encouraging people not to spray not to put Mosquito Joe in their backyard, which really kills every insect and arachnid.
Right, but when it comes to, I don't see our committee people, aside from the getting down in the dirt and working on improving gardens, unless you have another idea of how we would do that.
Well, I think at least from my experience, a lot of people sort of say, what should I be planting? I don't need you to do the work for me. I just need to have guidance.
Yeah, and that's why I do the winter sows, because that's when people are
Yeah.
asking.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a workshop in the fall which is the best time to plant,
Yep.
to assist on how do you make a year-round pollinator garden.
Yes.
We'd have to find a good speaker. I don't know who I would recommend at this point. I haven't been wowed by anybody so far. Anyone have suggestions?
I mean, I could give it my best shot. I feel like between now and the fall, I could probably read up a lot on it.
Yeah.
I don't know
Well,
if you wanted someone
Yeah,
who's like,
I think, Concord really usually wants somebody that's a name. And
Oh, okay.
also, I have knowledge and I've given talks, but I'm not going to draw a crowd.
Yeah.
I've given several talks, which have been well received, and people have referred to, and asked me, oh, are you the person that spoke at yada yada? Yes, I learned a lot, blah blah. But if we were going to do something through the library, using the library as a venue, then I think we ought to get somebody that would make a difference. I know that I have not met a landscaper in the area that I would refer somebody to.
Yep.
And I think that's the big thing, is if we could have a landscaper who really is knowledgeable. And, I've talked to some that are pretty renowned, and I'm very disappointed in their lack of interest in native.
What
No.
about
Well,
somebody
two
from
questions.
Tufts?
Okay, well, sorry.
What'd you mention?
Couple of ideas. First of all, I wouldn't bother with any talk until about February, because everybody's going to be preoccupied with the election in the fall, and then there's Christmas and just getting through the darkness. People start waking up like groundhogs in February,
That's a good idea. Yeah,
thinking
I
about
agree.
gardens. So I think you're going to draw a bigger crowd, a more hopeful crowd, in the spring, or the proto spring. The
Well-
other thing is Alice Kaufman and Michael McAteer they had a commercial person put a pollinator garden in at their house. I can't remember what's in it. but, you know, Alice is pretty savvy, so.
Okay,
I could
I'll
ask
talk to
her,
her.
yeah,
I'll talk to her.
ask her who did it, and,
Mhm.
I have a neighbor that supposedly put one in a few years ago. I'm supposed to go down and see her pretty soon and check it out. So, I could try to get that name as well.
Good.
And, you know, somebody local. And if we wanted, I don't know if this is a bit too far afield, but, George Corrette, who grew up in Concord, runs Eco Quiet Landscape Service.
Yeah, he doesn't know native plants at all.
Okay, well, anyway,
I've
he at
talked to
least
him.
isn't, he's a little bit kinder and gentler to the environment. So if that's an issue, it's, you know, it's always good to be able to refer people to that, especially
Yeah.
since we now have the leaf blower bylaw in effect, which people may not realize. You are, if your land is 1.5 acres or less, you're not supposed to be running a gas-powered leaf blower now until sometime in September, I think, or your landscaper.
That's not
This
true
is
in
a
my
fact
neighborhood.
which my neighbors are not cognizant of. I just sent out an email to my
And
neighborhood.
the town is
associate.
not under that.
Pardon me?
The town is not under that.
What do you mean the town is not under
The
that?
town is leaf blowing with gas powered all
You
the
mean
time.
the town employees?
Yes.
Okay, that may be, but Eric Sims, our sustainability director, just sent out, well, sent it out a while ago, but I basically recopied, you know, copied and sent it on his email, his wording.
Oh yeah, send that around to us, because I don't know that I saw that.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, and I'm surrounded by gas-powered leaf blowers on 1 acre lots, so
Yeah, I saw something and then couldn't find it again.
yeah. Thank
You
you,
know,
Jen. Yeah.
When you were saying about getting somebody in the fall, maybe it would be fun to have like a small, either in-person meeting or a small, like kind of, I
Yep.
don't know, not necessarily a lecture, but ask the people from the Minuteman Park to tell us what's happening there. Come with some of their
Oh,
information.
Oh, I
that's a
like
good
that.
I
idea.
think that
Yeah.
Christina and Molly would be a wonderful thing. Just
That's a great idea.
like just kind of bring us, like, maybe we can get somebody who has a tent and sometimes invites us to his tent, to come bring a sandwich or whatever it is, or buy whatever
Well, I
there.
think a
And
town-wide presentation, Christina, would be really great on the work that you guys are doing.
yeah,
Would you all be up for that, or have you left us?
Oh, she's still there.
Who would the presentation be for?
For the town.
yeah, but do it in the fall. I think
Yeah.
even though there's election stuff, there's people need, something else sometimes.
Right.
Just something that's like, kind of good.
Well, I think not everybody's just focused on the election. And I think people in the fall are focused on, what has accomplished in the summer and,
Right.
what do you do now in terms of, leave the leaves and that stuff.
Right. I
Do you think that would be possible?
Yeah, I think so. I just am leaving for the end of the field season around mid-November, so it would just have to be sometime
Early November, right?
Or
Yeah, mid-October.
would it be, yeah, what's a good time for you, Christina?
And
anytime.
So let's talk to Dory. I know is on the sustainability committee at the library.
Okay.
oh yeah,
Maybe
right.
talk with Dory about.
Yeah, do you want me to send my email?
Yeah,
Please.
that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have our emails?
Or
no,
if,
I don't.
if you, Christina, if you want, I think if you send it to the committee, I think it's PHAC@concordmat.gov. Let me see. We can forward it to everybody on the committee.
Why don't you give me either a phone number or and I can then at least make a direct link. What do you feel comfortable giving out? And your name is
Um,
Christina what?
Christina Martin.
Martin, okay.
I'll send, oh, I guess there isn't a chat here.
See if we can make a chat.
Do you do a lot of videos in your surveys?
I do a decent amount. It can be a good way if the pollinator is moving really fast to be able to capture different angles.
Right.
I'll give you mine. Mine's
I think there is a
Isabel.
chat.
If you see me, I don't know if you see my name or not.
Oh, yeah.
It's Isabel V as in Victor Bailey at gmail.com.
Isabel. Okay.
So I'll look for your email.
Okay, great.
Okay.
And if you want to email the committee, it's PHAC_COM, COMM, at concordmad.gov.
Try both and see what works.
Absolutely.
All of the above. Is there, are you the only person, Christina, that does this? You and Molly? Or is there, are you part of a bigger group that surveys whatever?
I'm a part of a bigger group, but it's only me, Molly, and one other person who is doing surveys at Minuteman specifically.
Okay.
But I'm part of a group of people who are also doing some surveys at Boston Harbor Islands.
Oh, cool.
Nice. I think, hearing how your surveys have gone and what you've been finding and what trends you're seeing in populations or diversity would be very interesting. Have you been doing this for how many years have you been doing this?
This is my first year doing it.
Okay, so this is a good benchmark.
Yeah.
I think just,
Yeah.
just knowing that it's going on there, I think is really, really good too.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, do you report to somebody nationally or locally?
I actually work for the National Park Service Inventory and Monitoring Division, which is based out in Fort Collins, Colorado. So I started my job over there in Colorado and then came here just for the field season to do this research. And then I'm
Okay.
heading back to Colorado after the field season is over.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right,
Have they
fascinating.
done this in past years? Is this a brand new program?
They did it last year. That's when they started trying to figure out a good methodology for surveying bees, and they're still kind of working out how they want to proceed as far as like best practices for doing pollinator surveys with people, especially for people who are not necessarily bee experts to begin
Right.
with. They want people in multiple different national parks to be able to do bee surveys without needing to have an expert there because that can be pretty few and far between. So they're trying to figure out a methodology for being able to train people, kind of like the average person, be able to train them on how to identify bees to different morpho groups to at least get some data, even if it's not to species every time.
Yeah.
This sounded like Gagier's kind of work.
Yes.
You're familiar with Dr. Gagier, Rob Gagier?
No.
Oh, so I'll send you info on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
And what is it? Citizen Science.
Yeah. The Beecology Project. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the right word. Ecology.
That's pretty interesting. I could see this being very valuable to us. Your experience and doing these surveys. I like the idea of doing a fixed route. So you're surveying the same area and noting conditions is spot on. And your recordings of what you're seeing, that even giving a talk on that approach would help us because, like I say, I've been wanting to find a way we could measure progress. And I guess that's kind of when I talked about plans for garden improvements, I think this is part of that idea that it's not just putting the plants in place, but it's also seeing how they're being used in a sort of a methodical way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
So Christina, are you a graduate student or expecting to study this more, or are you an employee of the park service, or?
Yeah, I'm an employee of the Park Service. I have already gone to grad school. I have my master's in biology.
Cool.
Mm.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, welcome.
Well, you can be effective.
Oh, that was bad.
Oh, bad
I
job.
worked at it.
That's taken our committee to a new level.
Or depth.
Or depth, yes.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
maybe
Well,
you can teach us something, Christina.
Yeah, definitely. Happy to spread the word about the research that I'm doing and just general pollinator information.
And then the next thing on our agenda that might
yeah, I was
Christina
just
might
thinking,
want to show up for.
would this be something we have an ag day here in the fall. It's in September. Usually the first, what is the second Saturday in September, something like that. And our committee always has a table at it where we distribute information, encouraging people to leave the leaves on their lawns, for example, over winter. And maybe we should get together with you to have something about how to do a bee survey or that might be good.
Well, I was thinking that they might want to look at the
Oh,
national
yeah.
park because they have what is it? Gaining ground is on and using parkland.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of things that the park like kind of gets invisible sometimes in town.
Yep.
Doesn't have the visibility that it should. Like yeah, like Patriots Day, yeah, but that's like people visit, but it's like we don't really look at the really wealth of agriculture and plants and all the different things at the park that are kind of just there.
Mm-hmm.
They're not a performance or an event, but they're really, I think, the most important parts of the park.
That's a good point.
And I mean,
Yeah.
I would think if they talk to Liza that they could maybe have get a table from the park that focuses on their farm, the farming and the different things that they do there. I mean, just a thought. I mean, some of the park is in Lincoln. I think we can. I mean, I don't know what their rules are for Ag Day. Steve might know better, but some of it's in Concord too. The farm part, I think, is in Concord that they're doing currently. I think the cattle are in Lincoln, but I think the plants are. Gaining ground has a pretty good
But
amount
they
of
have a table. Gaining ground does a table.
right, but that's okay. But the park part of it, just I don't know. Maybe we can ask. We can line up, and like I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
but somehow or other to bring that together because so often it seems like right now we're at the point that there's something happening here, there, like just these spots, and we've always talked about connecting the pathways, the connections, and I think that's some of what I see. I would like to see us, and I have from the beginning, really begin to connect those little spots and know who each other are.
Yeah. I think that's a really good idea, especially, I mean, Christina, because you're working with Minuteman Park, right?
Yeah, she's employed by them.
Yeah, exactly. So there we are. Okay, that's a good. So let's do that for Ag Day. Any other possibilities? Any other? This is actually the best breakthrough we've made on Ag Day in a long time. Any other thoughts? I mean, we'll do the usual. I've got a fair number of things left over from last year in terms of materials. And I'll catalog what I've got and send it out to you guys. Let's see, I'll write a note to myself.
Steve, do you have an ag committee meeting Thursday night?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe we should say hello. We
Yes,
can.
I can't, I've got company and such. I'm
Yeah,
taking time out right now.
thanks for doing that, Isabel.
yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts about Ag Day?
What is the date for Ag Day?
First Saturday
Let's see.
The Saturday
but
after Labor Day.
after Labor Day.
I think it's the 14th. Or no, Saturday after Labor Day would be, I
Sounds-
think,
The
the
7th.
7th. Yeah.
Setup is at 9, it starts at 10, it's on Main Street in Concord, right in town. And it's
They
very
shut
hot.
off the main. Yeah, they shut off the main street. So
Yep.
that section of it. It's really fun and really neat, and it's just so many neat people.
Cool.
I was curious about like what materials you're going to have provided because I know a little bit of, graphic design, and so I'm
Oh,
That's Molly?
yeah.
Oh,
Sorry,
Well-
my house is a bit of a mess right now. So
join the club.
yeah. Let's see. Well, we've got, maybe what would be good, we could send you
Graphics-
some pictures,
the
Molly,
graphic-
what we've got.
Yeah,
But-
I think the graphics that we could really use is a poster that shows how spraying your lawn kills everything, all around. I know that Art for All had some great lawn posters about No Mow May that are very, colorful and catchy. We have a lot of written material, but not a lot of visual or interactive. And if we could come up with an interactive activity, it would be really great. I haven't, that brings because it's young families, a lot of young families.
What do you think, Molly?
yeah, I was just thinking like maybe even some like I don't know, just kind of brainstorming here, but some little like models, either like clay models or just regular little polymer clay models or something like that, just so the kids have something, tangible to kind of look at and maybe pick up and, associate with things that they're seeing in their yards.
Well, I still have, that sounds good, because I still have the notebooks and pencils that we didn't do in the spring. With the folder that has the pictures of all of the different kinds of bees. I mean, unfortunately, in the fall, you don't see that, but you do. If you look in the right places, actually, you do see quite a lot. I see quite a lot of bees in the fall.
Yes.
You won't see all of them, but you'll see quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Out in California, my daughter's botanical garden on their child day, they had the kids have a paintbrush that they put in flour, and then it touched the plant, the flower in powdered baking flour, and pollinated the plant. I wonder if we could somehow use that as the spray that then kills the bugs or something. I don't know. Showing how, it really goes everywhere.
Well,
I don't know. Got to think about it.
Hmm.
well, the other thing is, like, we always talk about the things that kill the critters, the insects, but the herbicides make a big difference too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's, if you don't have the plant to feed the pollinator, that's, you need all
Yeah.
the pieces of the cycle.
Yeah, and conversely, if the plant doesn't have a pollinator that fertilizes it,
Yeah,
the
and
plant
and
disappears.
I sent out that note to people, and I'll say it again, is the film The Pollinators, which is on YouTube, made 7 months ago, documentary, award-winning. I would strongly recommend it. It's got farmers, it's got bees,
Mhm.
got the commercial bees. Mostly it's about commercial bees, but it is some of it. They do start to mention the native bees. But if you are affecting, and they're not looking at colony collapse, they're looking at the other things that affect bees, and anything that is affecting the commercial bees is affecting the native bees. So,
Yes, yeah,
and I found it fascinating, and was talking to Mark before, the fact that they start in Oregon, which, like a lot of the specials, just kind of focus on the West Coast, but they come across the country, different parts of the country, and they also several of the things in New England. And one of the featured groups is Merrimack Valley Apiary, and they're right here in Billerica. And then I got a big kick out of going to Maine with the blueberries and cherry field. I happen to know people from that area, and that's where they collect all the blueberries. They used to anyway. I think they still do, for packaging up and shipping. And and the guy who takes the truck to Maine and has his breakfast with the pancakes at towards the end is absolutely just so like out of central casting. But people like that are real in Maine. I think he drives. I don't know if he's just from Massachusetts or what, but it was just, I got the biggest kick out of it. But incredibly educational for me anyway. And then in the end they do talk about the organic farming and the places of that. I just thought it was one of the most informational types of things that I've seen in a long time. And just, I would strongly recommend to take some time to look at it, because it hits so many of the things that, like the pieces, and it doesn't really have a whole lot of answers, but definitely, it looks at different kinds of farming all across the country, and the relationship of the bees, the plants, and people, and all of the different pieces.
yeah, good, yeah. So I think we've got
Okay,
some good
So
potential
we got,
for new things at Ag Day. I think are going to be.
so do we need to check with Liza that we want to be included for Ag Day?
Yes,
Get our
yeah.
reservation in?
She usually sends out I've gotten emails from her in the past, but we can, I've got I've got her email. Well, you do too. Let her know that we're interested, Lois.
Well, okay.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, I'll try to stop into their meeting. Are you guys meeting in person, or Steve on
Yeah.
Thursday night?
Yes, the townhouse.
Townhouse, okay.
Okay.
That's not a good match for me sometimes in the evening. For that. So
What
maybe,
time?
why don't you just send the email, and I'll try to see if I can stop. But if Steve, just let them know we're definitely interested
Yeah,
in a table for Ag Day.
well, that's a good idea. Yeah.
I mean, just so the last thing, I mean, tables are kind of hot items for Ag Day. I think they sell out. So you don't want to be forgotten. We want to be enthusiastic about it.
Okay. Let's move on, because we've got
Right.
a little over 10 minutes left, or about 10 minutes.
Pesticide
A
reduction.
little bit of time on what are the potentialities for reducing pesticides in Concord? Any thoughts?
Well, some of the towns have done better at reducing, I think it's the lawn. And I mean, so that there are other ways of doing. And I think, we kind of relied on what the state did in terms of the got it off the shelves, but not everything's off the shelves in terms of pesticides and herbicides. Um, so I mean, it's not like it's all gone.
Right.
Part of it's gone, as far as the shelves go. But I think some of it is. I don't see that there's any reason for most people in their local lawns and gardens to use some of the things that they do. And I honestly think some people don't realize what they're using and what the impact is. Oh, this kills weeds. Well, they don't think most weed killers, kill all broadleaf or broadleaf things or all narrowleaf, whatever the kind of aim is. But they're much broader than most people think they are. And I think I think for the home person, there could be a big reduction in that. And when you look at here and there in town, you're starting to see people with more like little patches of like flowers. They don't necessarily seem, I think sometimes they're flowers that are, what do you call it? Marketed as pollinators, not necessarily natives. The other thing is thinking of that, and I was just talking about this with my friend, is there's one of the big national companies has got what they're calling native plants, and they kind of changed it. What a few years ago they had some nativars they called them, but now they've got native plants. And to me, and I would like to discuss, have a discussion sometime with the crew, is so I can understand it. It just sounds like greenwashing, that because the way they're developing them, they're basically they're using one plant and then taking the cuttings from that one plant so that you have, your group is all related. And we're back around to the piece that we've found not to be very successful in terms of plants. So I don't know how to say it really well. I feel I'm saying it really well, but I think there's some heads up because the marketing out front, native plants, what does that mean and how does it mean? And I think I learned a lot from Isabel. I mean, if there's a mistake been made, I've probably made it because I read the big print, the big, colorful print or whatever, and didn't understand. And I think that's a piece in terms of education that we need to, bring forward more than we have.
Okay.
In terms of agriculture, whoop, yeah, whoop, am I there still?
Yes, we
Yeah.
hear you.
Yep.
I'm not lit up, so I was wondering. They pretty much eliminated the neonics from seed treatments now,
Right.
and I think that's been a positive thing. Generally, everybody uses as little as they can, I think, and a lot of crops we use nothing. The majority of the crops we don't. There was a article sent around. I think it was about neonics and their effects there. Isabel, I think, sent, and I listened to that quite carefully, and I tried to research it afterwards. And the article was written by a environmental organization about research done by 3 universities, but it didn't cite any sources specifically. And every time I Googled to find something about neonics in Delaware or North Carolina or South Carolina, I guess it was, that article was the only thing that came up.
Really?
And it mentioned that they injected pesticide into the pollen and doing research with that, but I couldn't find any information at all about what rate was injected or what the procedures was, or actually any of the results directly from the universities.
Well, I think
But-
that's important we need to follow up on that. I wonder if the Xerces Society has the details on that. Can you send me back that article so I'm sure I got the right one?
Okay, yeah.
And then and
Yeah.
let's follow that up. I think that's really important.
I think that's a
Yeah.
good idea. Yeah, I'd be interested. too.
Another bit of information I'll pass on. I had a call from a retired pharmacist beekeeper in Holliston and wanted some rhubarb leaves. Have any of you heard about this process?
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think-
okay.
yeah.
Well, he came and picked up about 40 leaves and put them in his freezer. They're big, big leaves, a lot of
Yeah.
mass. And they're on the surface, they're considered poisonous.
Right.
They contain oxalic acid, apparently.
Mhm.
And he was using a procedure that was presented in one of the state bee gatherings during the summer from the university, I think. He mixed up dried mushroom powder
Ugh.
with
Wow.
sugar and water and crumbled up the frozen asparagus leaves, as I understand it, and put it in the mix and put it on top of the supers. And the bees apparently eat it. And somehow that oxalic acid gets to spread around the hive as they clean the hive, and it keeps the mites away, is my understanding.
Wow.
Interesting.
So he just did it, and he's going to keep me posted.
What?
Nice.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know. I know that some of the native pollen, particularly sunflower pollen, helps to keep the disease out of the bumblebees, but I don't know about honeybees at all.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I have seen several articles where farmers have put in hedgerows of native pollinators, and it's increased their production significantly. The farm in Carlisle out Monument Street, I can't remember the name of it. The small,
Clark Farm?
no, further out. No, not on Monument, not on Lowell Road.
Not Hutchins.
Oh,
No,
Hutchins.
it's in Carlisle, so it's out further. She put in hedgerows, and she said her production really went way up with hedgerows of pollinator plants. I know how to get there. I can drive out and see the name of the farm.
Yeah, that would be
But
good.
As you're going past, you get into Carlisle, and it's just as you're at the Concord Carlisle area.
Okay.
I gotta close my door because there's
Well, we seem to
folks.
get good pollination on all of our crops. You can tell if a blossom turns into fruit or just drops off. And we don't have much pollination issue.
No, but she didn't have a pollination issue either. But when she added the hedgerows, she saw a jump in her production.
But that
I'll
couldn't
go look
that
it up
couldn't
for
make
you.
any difference. That couldn't make any difference unless she had a pollination issue. Because that's the only thing they do is pollinate flowers that didn't get pollinated.
Yeah, I guess I mean, I don't know how you assess whether you've got a pollination issue. If
Well, you
if
can
you're
tell,
doing
as I
well,
say, you can look at the flowers, and as they mature, they turn into fruit, or they drop and
right,
lay
right.
off.
Yeah, I have seen some issues in like butternut squash that the seeds inside the cavity aren't necessarily all filled out.
Right.
And
Well,
I think
that's because of the squash bee. You have to have the squash bee to get that to go right.
But I understand, but I think that the part of the reason might be inadequate pollination, that the seeds aren't fertile.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I know that happens with apples. If sometimes if you see a lopsided apple, it's the seeds on on the small side actually weren't pollinated.
Huh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, this is all good stuff. Let's let's pursue this. And thanks for bringing that up, Steve. We should see if we can
Yeah.
nail down that article a little bit.
Right.
Okay,
Awesome.
And Christina, I look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
I sent an email and one of them bounced back. Not Isabel, your email, that one sent through, but the PHAC_COMM.
Yeah.
What
It's MA, that's why. Concord MA.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
COMA.
No, COMM at concordma.gov. Did that go through? Let's see.
No,
I
that
have
Oh,
I haven't received yours yet, but that just means I live in Concord.
for yours I did isabelbailey@gmail.com.
Yeah, ISABEL, V as in Victor, BAILEY @gmail.com.
Yep.
And I'm also looking at my iPad, which is slower than the others.
Yeah, so if you're free to distribute my email to
Thank you. Okay.
okay, that'd be great.
Yeah, and if you want to look up Bob Gagare and then the Ecology Project, he
Yeah,
he was out in Worcester. Now he's at UMass Dartmouth.
Yep. Well, thank you
But
so
that's
much. We
that's
should,
probably
that's a
something that
huge,
would help you, Christina, with some of what you're doing.
yeah, his influence is quite big from Southborough up through Chelmsford in the whole pollinator world.
I'll look him up.
Gagir is Gegear, Rob.
I see.
Thanks, Isabel.
Okay, I moved that we adjourn.
okay. Anybody's
second,
second? Okay.
Thanks for showing up, Christina and
everybody-
Molly.
And the date for the next one is what?
What is it? I think it's September,
No,
September or August?
August.
August 13th. Thank you.
Okay.